A viral concert clip just shook the internet. People swear they saw Celeste, the missing teenager, alive in the crowd. And here's the twist. The clip came from the same singer whose Tesla was later found with her body inside. Picture this, you're at a concert, and a girl shows up on camera who looks exactly like a missing teen. Weeks later, that same teen's body is found in the trunk of the artist's Tesla. Coincidence? Or something darker? One short clip from David's concert changed everything. A girl on the balcony looked just like Celeste. When David noticed her, he froze, and that single reaction set the internet on fire. But if that really was Celeste, how did her body end up in his Tesla? A shocking new video is making the rounds online, and people can't stop talking about it. The clip shows a girl who looks almost identical to Celeste Rivas Hernandez standing in the crowd at one of David's concerts. The moment David noticed her, his reaction wasn't casual. He froze, panicked, and that reaction alone set the internet on fire. For many, it was the clearest sign yet that David might not be as innocent as he claims. And while fans were dissecting every frame, whispers grew louder that investigators, plus a certain rival artist, were closing in on him. But to understand why this video shook everyone so deeply, we need to backtrack. On September 8, 2025, police made a discovery that would rock Los Angeles. The decomposed body of 15-year-old Celeste was found inside the front trunk, what Tesla calls the frunk of a Model X. That car was registered to none other than David, a rising R&B singer. The news hit like a thunderbolt. Celeste had been missing since April 2024. The last time anyone saw her alive was grainy liquor store footage from March that year. Her family had always been worried. Her mother even said Celeste had been dating someone named David, though they never met him in person. That revelation alone made the connection impossible to ignore. The Tesla itself added another twist. It had been abandoned in the Hollywood Hills for weeks before tow workers finally removed it on September 3rd. To the casual observer, it was just another expensive car sitting too long in a no-parking zone. It picked up a couple of tickets, August 28th and September 3rd, before it finally got towed. But what no one knew at the time was that inside that sleek, silent vehicle was a horror waiting to be uncovered. When the staff at the impound lot began processing the car, they noticed something was off. It wasn't immediate. The tow paperwork didn't mention anything unusual. But by September 8th, the smell had become undeniable, thick, sickly, and impossible to ignore. Workers followed their noses to the front trunk, the frunk, as Tesla owners call it, and that's when they stopped everything and called the police. What officers found was devastating. The body of 15-year-old Celeste Rivas Hernandez, wrapped in plastic, hidden inside the very place most owners store their groceries or backpacks. For months, her face had been on missing posters, circulating on TikTok and whispered about in online forums. Now, tragically, she had been found. The autopsy results deepened the mystery. Medical examiners concluded Celeste had been dead for weeks before her discovery. That put her time of death somewhere in late July or early August, well before David Burks, the rising R&B artist whose name was tied to the Tesla, had even kicked off his tour. The timeline seemed clear at first glance. She vanished at 13, was missing through 14, and resurfaced tragically at 15. Investigators assumed her death predated his recent travels, pointing the clock back to midsummer. But then, the video surfaced. A grainy concert clip circulated online showing a girl in the crowd who many swore looked exactly like Celeste. TikTok, Twitter, and Reddit lit up with theories that she had been alive and well just weeks earlier, casting doubt on the official timeline. Within hours, screenshots spread, zoomed-in frames dissected, side-by-side comparisons shared. The narrative shifted. Could the autopsy be wrong? Could Celeste have been alive after July, contradicting the medical estimate? Investigators were cautious, but the public wasn't. Rumors grew, fueled by viral reposts and influencer commentary. Some insisted the girl in the footage was Celeste, pointing to hair, jawline, and clothing style. Others said it was clearly someone else. What made matters worse was that the girl eventually identified was Mia Lopez, an innocent teenager who suddenly found herself doxxed, harassed, and dragged into a storm she never asked for. By the time the LAPD confirmed Mia's identity, the damage was already done. Suspicion around David grew exponentially. Meanwhile, the car itself became ground zero for the case. Tesla vehicles, as many know, are rolling computers. Their black boxes log everything: door openings, charging history, GPS routes, and even whether the frunk has been accessed. Though its cameras, known as Sentry Mode, had reportedly been turned off, the onboard data still told a story. According to leaks, the OBD2 port revealed the Tesla's last recorded trip was July 28th, leaving from David's West Hollywood rental and parking in the Hollywood Hills. That same day, records show the frunk had been opened. If accurate, that timeline suggested Celeste's body was placed inside on July 28th, the very day the car made its final journey. That finding aligned more with the autopsy than with the viral concert video, but by then the conspiracy theories had already gained traction. Detectives doubled down. Search warrants were executed at David's rental on September 17th and 18th. They seized electronics, hard drives, and evidence bags whose contents remain sealed. Another sweep of the area where the Tesla had been parked turned up additional items of interest. To one investigator, the vehicle itself became the most important witness, a silent, digital witness that might tell the truth better than anyone speaking publicly. At the same time, the probe expanded into digital forensics. Subpoenas went out to Discord, TikTok, and even cell carriers. Celeste's accounts painted a picture of a troubled teenager, writing cryptic posts about toxic relationships and heartbreak. Some geotags placed her near David's residence months before she disappeared. Phone records and alleged direct messages from 2023 hinted at possible grooming behavior, raising even deeper concerns about how she ended up in his orbit. Witness canvases added another layer. Over 20 neighbors told police they had seen a teenage girl at David's gatherings before he went on tour. Some descriptions matched Celeste. TMZ even unearthed footage from August 2024, nearly a year before her body was found, showing her in what looked like a heated argument with an unidentified man. That single clip disrupted the idea that she had vanished without a trace in April 2024. It proved she had resurfaced months later, in places where danger was still circling her. For Celeste's family, the nightmare only grew. They provided investigators with photos allegedly showing bruises on her body prior to her disappearance, though the dates remain unverified. They begged the public not to get distracted by viral misinformation, emphasizing that justice could only come through facts, not theories. The Tesla, the timeline, the video each became pieces of a puzzle that still refuses to snap neatly into place. What we know is undeniable. A 15-year-old girl died, her body hidden in a car registered to a rising musician. Whether her death was an accident, an overdose, or something far darker remains unresolved. What's certain is that someone placed her there, and that act alone demands accountability. The LAPD continues to await DNA testing, toxicology reports, and a full digital evidence dump from Tesla and social media platforms. As of now, no charges have been filed, but detectives insist the case remains very much active. And while internet sleuths chase theories, investigators are methodically piecing together the truth from data, witnesses, and science. The Tesla that once symbolized luxury and status now sits as a grim monument in this case, a reminder that behind the shine of celebrity and technology lies a story of tragedy, secrecy, and the desperate pursuit of justice for Celeste Rivas Hernandez. On September 23rd, someone commented under a true crime post and dropped several images plus a short clip from David's August 24th concert at the Fillmore in Silver Spring, Maryland. The footage showed a teenage girl in a black tube top and dark jeans, standing on a VIP balcony beside David's brother, Caleb. To many, the resemblance to Celeste was undeniable. The clip went viral instantly. Within hours, it was everywhere: TikTok, Instagram Reels, Twitter threads, YouTube breakdowns. Major accounts reposted it, each one layering speculation on top of the last, and the views piled up in the millions. What unsettled people most was the detail. The girl in the balcony wore an outfit eerily similar to what Celeste was reportedly found in: a black top, denim shorts, sneakers. That single resemblance sent the internet into overdrive. But the speculation didn't stop there. In another shaky shot from a different angle, David himself appeared on stage pointing toward the balcony. He raised his hand and curled his fingers into a half-heart gesture, a move some fans recognized as one he often used in shows. Was it a coincidence? Was he acknowledging someone specific? And if so, was it Celeste? The ambiguity was gasoline on the fire. Entire communities of online sleuths mobilized overnight. Side-by-side comparisons of the mystery girl and missing posters of Celeste were everywhere. People zoomed in on the grainiest screenshots, circling features like cheekbones, nose shape, or hairstyle. The arguments became forensic in tone, though most evidence was little more than subjective guesswork. For some, the match was undeniable. For others, it was just another case of wishful thinking, a trick of the mind where people see what they want to see. The internet thrives on mystery, and this was the perfect storm. A missing teenager, a famous musician, a body discovered in his Tesla, and now a video that seemed to place her at his concert weeks after her supposed death. Commentators didn't hesitate to declare it a conspiracy. Some accused authorities of covering up the true timeline. Others claimed David's team was manipulating evidence. Hashtags demanding justice for Celeste trended alongside wild theories accusing David of grooming, trafficking, or worse. And then came the darker side of viral speculation. A name started circulating: Mia Lopez. Within 48 hours, internet detectives had identified the girl in the clip as a completely different teenager who bore a surface-level resemblance to Celeste. Mia was real, and she wasn't missing. She was simply a fan at a concert who had the misfortune of looking a little like someone in a tragic case. But by the time her name came out, the damage was irreversible. Strangers online accused Mia of lying about her identity. She was harassed with DMs, doxed, and even targeted with threats. To some people, acknowledging she wasn't Celeste would mean admitting they had been wrong, and on the internet, that's almost unthinkable. So the harassment continued, even after LAPD confirmed that the clip did not show Celeste. Still, the seed of doubt had been planted. Even with officials debunking the rumor, not everyone was convinced. They're covering for David, some posts claimed. Why else would the girl look so much like her? The narrative snowballed. The autopsy must have been wrong. The police timeline must have been flawed. The media must be complicit. In the eyes of the internet, the video wasn't evidence to be scrutinized, it was a storyline to be shaped. What many overlooked was how fragile the case already was. Detectives were sifting through digital evidence, waiting on toxicology reports, and trying to map Celeste's final movements. Every hour they spent addressing viral theories and clearing up misinformation was time diverted from the actual investigation. Investigators even noted that the frenzy risked spooking witnesses. Some neighbors who had initially been willing to talk grew hesitant, fearing their words would be twisted online. The viral clip, then, became a double-edged sword. On one hand, it amplified awareness of Celeste's case to a massive audience, ensuring her name wasn't forgotten. But on the other hand, it distorted the facts and pulled attention away from the hard evidence. Instead of focusing on DNA swabs from the Tesla or the data logs showing when the frunk was last opened, people obsessed over pixelated screenshots from a concert. For Celeste's family, the spectacle was unbearable. They released a statement urging people not to chase rumors, but to provide real tips to detectives. "We want justice," they said, "not theories." But by then, the story had taken on a life of its own. True crime YouTubers spun the clip into multi-part series. TikTok creators built entire channels off it. Twitter threads treated it as proof of a sinister cover-up. What started as a blurry video had ballooned into a cultural phenomenon, blurring the line between investigation and entertainment. It wasn't just about Celeste anymore. It was about the internet's hunger to solve the mystery first, to be the one who cracked the case, even if that meant dragging innocent people into the chaos. In reality, the truth remained far less cinematic and far more complicated. The clip was just a clip. A shaky moment at a concert, blown up and dissected until it became something it never truly was. Yet the fallout was very real. A grieving family forced to watch their daughter's tragedy turn into viral content, an innocent teenager's life upended by mistaken identity, and an investigation that had to fight harder to stay focused on the actual evidence instead of chasing ghosts born from speculation. And in the middle of it all, the same question lingered. If not the video, then what really happened to Celeste Rivas Hernandez? Some insisted the girl's chin cleft matched Celeste's perfectly. Others weren't so sure, arguing the video was too grainy to prove anything. But the timing made things murkier. If it was Celeste in that clip, she was alive only 12 days before David's Tesla was towed and before her body was discovered inside. Could she really have decomposed so severely in that short span? Experts debated, but given LA's extreme summer heat and the fact that she was sealed in a trunk wrapped in plastic, some argued it was possible. Still, the questions piled up. If she was alive at the concert, who was she with? How involved was David's brother? And why did David react so visibly from the stage? Within days, mainstream outlets like Fox 11 LA and The Independent in the UK picked up the story. Concerned parents were interviewed, Reddit threads dissected every second, and side-by-side photos flooded the internet. What began as curiosity turned into a global obsession. The fallout was intense. The concert girl mystery didn't just raise doubts about the timeline of Celeste's death, it narrowed the focus on David and his inner circle. If proven real, the footage would mean Celeste survived far longer than investigators first believed, and that her final days were spent dangerously close to the very people now under scrutiny. And that's why this grainy, shaky video has everyone's attention. To some, it's the smoking gun. To others, it's just another layer in an already twisted case. But one thing is clear. The identity of the girl on that balcony could change everything. At first glance, the girl in the viral clip looked just like Celeste. She wore the kind of outfit Celeste had posted in her selfies back in 2023, a black top, dark hair parted down the middle, and that same faint chin cleft. She was laughing, phone in hand, standing beside a tall teenager in a hoodie later identified as Caleb Burke, David's 19-year-old brother. 2 other girls in crop tops were with them. David wasn't there, and no arrests were made, but the haul suggests police are digging deeply. The Tesla itself has been examined from top to bottom, DNA swabs from the frunk, tire tread analysis, app data, and fingerprints from plastic bags found inside. Leaks suggest partial prints have already been lifted. But one setback was key. The car's Sentry mode cameras, which normally record everything, were turned off. Even so, subpoenaed Tesla logs show the trunk was opened on July 28th, the same day the vehicle last left David's home. That may be when Celeste's body was placed inside. Digital evidence is also playing a huge role. Subpoenas for Celeste's Discord, TikTok, and X accounts uncovered emotional posts about a toxic relationship and geotags that pinged near David's address. Police are combing through David's phone records and reviewing alleged DMs from 2023 that raise serious concerns about grooming. More than 20 neighbors have already given statements, some recalling a teen girl, possibly Celeste, seen at parties before David's tour began. Other threads complicate the story. TMZ surfaced footage from August 2024 showing Celeste in an argument with an unidentified man, which suggests she may not have gone missing in April as originally thought. Reports of her using fake IDs to appear older add another layer, possibly connecting her more directly to David's world. Her family has shared photos of bruises, though the timing of those injuries remains unclear. But alongside the evidence, there's been a major problem: the fallout from the viral concert footage misidentification. Even though it was debunked within 48 hours, the damage was already done. It fueled suspicion against David without proof, and worse, it led to doxing and harassment of Mia Lopez, the innocent fan misidentified as Celeste. It distracted both the public and investigators from the real evidence and highlighted the dangers of internet mob justice. We've seen this pattern before in cases like Gabby Petito or Morphy Davis, high-profile tragedies that invite amateur sleuths, conspiracy theories, and misinformation that spirals far beyond the facts. Celeste's family has had to remind the public, don't spread rumors. If you know something, report it to the LAPD's Hollywood Division at 213-485-250. As of now, the investigation remains open. DNA testing of the evidence bags and Tesla swabs is underway. Toxicology results are expected in mid-October. A full digital data dump is also pending, and if foul play is confirmed, detectives are likely to seek warrants. David has stayed silent, canceling his tour dates, while the family has hinted they may push for federal involvement if progress stalls. Here's what we know for sure: a 15-year-old girl is dead. She was hidden in a way that was both deliberate and disturbing. Somebody put her in that Tesla. And justice for Celeste won't come from viral theories or grainy concert clips. It will come from patient, methodical police work that follows the evidence to the truth. The concert video saga is a warning. In our rush to solve cases online, we can harm innocent people, distort public perception, and even slow down the real investigation. The only thing that matters now is cutting through the noise and focusing on the evidence, because that's what will finally deliver justice for Celeste Rivas Hernandez.